Hey everyone. As you guys can tell, I'm actually not in my house right now. I don't know if you can tell too much, but yeah, this is not normal. I just wanted to do a quick video about what's been going on at my house since my last video. It hasn't been too much, and I can't technically call it paranormal in any way because there's too many variables at play when it happens, so I can't really tell. It's more like questions, and if you guys have like a legitimate explanation to the things I'm going to mention that I can't just like immediately just shut down, then you are welcome to like help me out here. But just real quick, 2 days ago, so like the 27th, I got home around 2 o'clock, and David had started dinner around 4:35. So this is what happened during that time. Within that 30-minute span, I didn't check the time when it happened, so I don't know. But he was in the kitchen. He was working on dinner and he was playing on his little phone, and I was laying in bed watching Ghost Adventures, and I'm just chilling out, and all of a sudden David's like, "What are you yelling about?" And I just look up from the TV as he was walking into the bedroom, and he goes, "What are you yelling about?" I'm like, I'm not yelling at anything. I'm not saying anything. I'm just watching TV." And he goes, "Well, I heard you say something to me." And I'm like, "Well, if I said anything to you, then I don't remember saying anything." And this was like maybe 2 seconds after he heard me say something, so I think I would remember. I didn't say anything. So, and another thing, real quick, so you guys know, I don't listen to the TV loud. He doesn't listen to the TV loud because he hates ghost crap. So, when you're watching TV in the bedroom and you go into the kitchen, you do not hear the TV. I personally do not hear the TV when I'm in the kitchen, and he doesn't. And if you're trying to talk to someone from that far away from the bedroom to the kitchen, you can barely hear them. You have to pretty much yell at the top of your lungs, and you're pretty much still not going to be able to hear them very well. So that's what he thought I was doing, and I wasn't. So he either heard something else, or he unlikely heard the TV because the TV wasn't loud enough. Because even I was in the kitchen at one point, so I can attest that it wasn't very loud. It's never very loud. So yeah, that happened. I don't know what he heard, but just thought I'd mention that. And then on the 28th, I had went to bed pretty early that night. I normally do because I have to wake up early the next day for work. So I fell asleep around 7, and so did David, even though he didn't sleep very well that night. It was really bad weather. It was raining pretty much all day, and then it was like really drizzly when I got off at work around 2, and then it just got worse throughout the night, and I think around 12 it finally stopped raining. Um, and I have a DVR, so that pretty much renders the dish stuff completely useless. Like the signal was lost all night, so I was watching my saved movies on my Xbox, and I had fallen asleep with the movies playing on my Xbox. And then I woke up like an hour or so later, around 8:15, because I remember checking the time. And the movie was over, so instead of just reaching for the controller that was right on my nightstand, I actually got up and I turned off the Xbox, the TV, and the DVR that was still on. And then I went back to sleep. And then around 12:25, I woke up again. I went to the bathroom, and when I came back into the bedroom, I noticed that the DVR was back on, and I was like, "DVR, I turned you off." And I was way too lazy to turn it off again, so I just went back to sleep. And at this point, I didn't hear any rain, and it had stormed all night. Like, it was like flash flood warnings and everything. I didn't hear any raining at this point, so I think it was done. But David did not sleep well at all that night. He's an insomniac, and then the rain just made it next to impossible for him to sleep. So around 3 o'clock, he just kind of gave up and just hung out in the living room and drank his coffee and crap until around, I guess around 3:30, he came back into the bedroom and he was trying to cuddle with me because I was refusing to get out of bed until my alarm clock went off. And then when it did, I got up and then I noticed that the DVR was turned back off. And I'm like, well, David, did you turn off the DVR? And he goes, no. I'm like, okay. Well, it turned itself on last night. I know I turned it off. It turned on and I guess it turned itself back off. I don't know what's going on with that stupid thing. And he goes, yeah, it was probably the weather. It was bad weather. But, just so you guys know, the DVR turns on and off all the time without being bad weather. And I don't know if that was the cause or ever is the cause or, what could be the cause. Because that thing likes to go off very occasionally, like almost. It's at least twice a month. I would say at least twice a month because I've written about it doing this a lot. And sometimes I don't mention it, but it does it a lot, where it makes me question if there's something wrong with the DVR, with the exception that sometimes when the DVR gets turned on, like the TV gets turned on, or sometimes it's vice versa, where the TV will be turned on and then the DVR won't be turned on. And that's unusual because I've had the TV for a couple of years now, so I know what the TV does. I've never had Dish before, so I don't know if the receiver is messed up and it's just trying to reset itself, because I heard that sometimes if the receiver has an error of some sort, it'll like turn on and turn off and try to reset itself. I don't know if that's what the problem is and if we need a new receiver or something. I don't know. But that I wouldn't think that would personally affect the TV doing its strange things that it suddenly does. So if you guys have any input on that, you're welcome to share with me, because I'm interested to know if it's something besides the paranormal. I think like that is a good theory, but I don't know if that's really the thing or not. I would have to call and then wait, and then they had to come and fix it, and I'm like, that's not even worth it because the thing turns on occasionally. So, and then another thing I thought I'd share with you guys. Since my last video, sorry, something caught my eye. Since my last video, I haven't been in the study, so I moved Mr. Owl from the study to my bedroom. He sits on the dresser, like on a little jewelry box situation, and he actually like turns his head away from the bed, so he kind of like stares at the door, and I just haven't bothered to move him, or move his head straight. I just don't care. So that's where he's been, and he hasn't moved his head on his own since my last video that we've caught him moving. So this caught me by surprise because this happened like the same morning with the DVR situation, and this happened around like 5 o'clock. I'm just like getting my stuff together, getting ready, about to leave for work. So it's a little after 5. I go back into the bedroom, I turn on the main light, so the ceiling light's on, the fan turns on, and I walk up to my dresser, and this is like literally not even a 10 seconds between those two actions of me turning on the light and walking to the dresser, and Mr. Owl just moves his head. And I'm like, what, Mr. Owl, what are you doing? Because I don't have my camera on me. I'm not expecting him to move, especially over such a quick, you know what I mean. Anyways, so I look at him, I realize that his little ribbon had somehow got blown off, I guess by the fan at some point, either during the night or whenever. Had blown off, and it was on the dresser, and I don't know if that is what caused his head to move, but he only moved it like once, and then he was done. He didn't move it again. So I put the ribbon back over him, and I went back to what I was doing. And then not even 10 minutes later, I was like, I'm going to see how this works out. So I went back to Mr. Owl, I took off his ribbon, and then I went to go brush my teeth, and as I'm brushing my teeth, I'm watching Mr. Owl, thinking that, he's going to soak up enough solar energy, and he's going to move his head. And he didn't. He didn't do anything. And I'm like, that is so frustrating how sometimes instantaneously, I guess, this time around, I'll turn on a light and he'll just move his head, and then for the past, I don't know how many months since I've had him, like basically since I moved into that house, he's been broken and he doesn't move his head at all. I mean, since these past, I guess we can just say March up until September, he's never moved until that one video. And he's always had the same light source directing on him. And back then, he's never had the black ribbon over him because he's never posed a problem, I guess, or like an interesting situation. He's never caught my eye before because he's, like, you know, if he always just moved and it wouldn't be anything. It's the fact that he just never moved and then all of a sudden he just starts moving out of nowhere that gets me confused. So I went online and I looked up to see how exactly solar toys work, and pretty much like the mechanisms inside the toy, whether it be like a wire or a cord or magnets or the solar panels of some sort, if any of that stuff gets jostled, because they all fit in just so, if any of them gets jostled in any way, then it just doesn't work. So I don't know if that's the case, but normally, you know, with those type of toys, either it's going to work or it's not going to work, because, you know, it has to be in just so for it to work. At least that's what I read, and I've never read anything that says sometimes it works. No, it says, you know, it's gonna work or it's not, and if it doesn't work, this is how you fix it. And I'm like, okay, well, he sometimes shakes his head. How about that? And he doesn't necessarily require a light source. He just shakes his head. I don't know. So if you guys have any input on why Mr. Owl does the things that he does that isn't necessarily a paranormal explanation, I would be happy to hear it. That is my non-paranormal theory on Mr. Owl. Maybe he sometimes works because of a mechanism situation, you know, of how he works. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to like open it up and really tell, I don't think, so I don't know. Anyway, so that's what's been happening so far. And once again, as you guys can see, I am not actually in my house. And if you remember the last time I was gone for an extended period of time, whatever is in my house was very unhappy. So it'll be interesting to see how things go when I get home, if the energy is going to do anything with me going, hi, I'm back. So we'll see. Anyways, my voice is starting to hurt, so I'm gonna go. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.